Back with Kevin Williamson, Richard Poe, and Mark, who has a question. Mark.
Yes, the Constitution being challenged so much over the last couple of years between Obamacare and the appointment of czars and now even Libya. I wanted to ask, is there any provisions, or are there any provisions in the Constitution to protect it, even against a sitting president, for its own self-preservation? Are there any provisions?
Yeah, I think there's tons of them, but I don't think that they've crossed. I don't think that you have to have blatant crossings.
Well, there's been nothing to protect the Constitution against the Supreme Court for the last 50 years. As excited as people get over that question, I find it hard to get that excited because I just don't think we've lived under the Constitution during my lifetime at all.
I would agree.
And probably not for years before that. So we're muddling through, but in terms of actually restoring American constitutional government to the way it's supposed to be, I mean, an interesting experiment.
Yeah, but I think that leads to real trouble. That would throw the country into civil war. Let me go to Catherine. Where are you, Catherine? Hi, Catherine.
Hi. President Obama recently visited Brazil, and there he commended their offshore drilling program. Mm-hmm. He told them that we would be their best customer, and yet he's an advocate for their program, but he supports a ban here in the U.S. Right. How do you think he justifies that? Easy.
First of all, you left out a couple of parts. He has given, with our money, our tax dollars, this is corporate welfare, to an oil company. Given our tax dollars to their oil company, their state-run oil company. Then, right before he went, he gave them something that he won't give anybody in the United States, drilling rights, and the deepest, where Deep Horizon was, that same area, he gave Petrobras clearance to go and have storage facility there, and I believe drilling rights there. So it's beyond that. And can anybody figure out why he's doing that? Anybody have a reason? Because this is, what'd you say? Well, George Soros did have money.
He was a former
stockholder
of it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a former stockholder of it, et cetera, et cetera. But I think with this one you go to Marxism. The president of Brazil is a Marxist guerrilla revolutionary that spent time in prison. And what is the main goal of the real Marxists, the believers of this, not the Hillary Clintons of the world, but the believers of the Marxist thing, that we're the oppressor and we've been taking the land and the resources and everything else. So what better way to redistribute the wealth, take from the rich Americans and give it to the poor country and the poor people in Brazil. That's all that is a redistribution of wealth. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back in just a second.